thank you guys for joining us on this post-credit segment. It's been a rough Sunday morning. I
glizzy stuck in your head.
You know, honestly, like, right when he said the joke, I don't think I ever told Jalen.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a fucking stroke?
Yeah, I did.
What the fuck?
That was back
Jay.
Back in September of 2021. That's not what this pod's about, but we'll discuss that.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
quote unquote, had a stroke. You know?
It's like, do the Nolan.
Wow.
We're past it already. We can make jokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Wow. This is a great start to this pod.
Make fun of Jared. But my God.
I know.
Yeah. So that happened. So that's when the joke. I was like, I don't think I've told you this yet. But, anyway, thank you guys for joining us on this post-credit segment. We do have a full docket for you guys today. We're going to go through a couple news and trailer releases that kind of occurred this past week, as well as we're going to do a little bit of a review on The Last of Us Episode 2. Before we go on, I'm still having a stroke, apparently. Oh, good for you, Keone. Crown.
He's just like, I'm just going to keep putting him up there in case one day somebody wants to sponsor us. It's like, last week it was Truly's. This week we're just throwing up different
White
things.
Claw, all the above. Diet Coke, sponsor us. Yeah.
Coke Zero. Sponsor us.
Hey.
What do I have around me?
Dr. Pepper Zero, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bath and Body Works hand spray.
Yo, if we got sponsored by Bath and Body Works, my room would smell like
Everculture.
cedar wood the whole time. You know what I'm talking about?
Hurley? I wear it every pod,
We're
bro.
just naming all these brands.
No, I wear it every pod. I literally wear my Hurley hat almost pretty much every pod.
That is true.
Razor, yeah.
Somebody needs to buy Jared a new hat.
Well, you
That's
got
likely
to
scenario.
bitch, and you didn't get me a hat.
Hey guys.
Raycon.
had
That's
these
actually
earphones before?
probably
Hey,
the most
Astro-
likely one that we could get,
Astros.
maybe.
I would need an Astro 850s. Wireless.
Could you imagine? Hey, Astro would be.
How do you like Raycons, though? How do you like Raycons?
I like them a lot. They fill all the buttons. Like I literally have charged them in this thing for like 2 weeks. Just every couple hours I'll throw them in my
You
ears.
charged it for 2 weeks.
I mean, like they're not like a daily earbud thing. I think I have my Bose ones for when we're doing like studio stuff, but they're dead. So stuff like this, or if I'm gonna go chill outside and put an audiobook on, lovely everyday earphones. They don't really come out of my head
just
too much.
just put in the code Poi N Soy 20 for 20% off your next order.
Exactly.
Spit it
Everyday
into
earbuds.
existence.
Yeah, it'd be funny because they're gonna put it in and not get crap.
Anyways, I have not introduced my beautiful and wonderful co-hosts and longtime friends. Please say what's up to the crowd, everybody.
Sappy fuckers.
Sabara.
Nice. I love the diverse responses we got. Okay. First thing we got on the docket today is recently The Simpsons has just been renewed for seasons 35 and 36, I believe.
Holy mother of God.
Yeah. Older than most of us have been around. Anyways, I did want to ask, was The Simpsons ever a show that you guys grew up watching? And Jared's a little mad at me. I'm sorry.
Like we just can't get through one day.
No.
It's always got to be slipped in somewhere.
I'm never helping you when you're out with Alan, man. You on your fucking phone. I'm going to give him res guns. I'm going to give him revive guns the whole freaking time, bro.
He's talking about Warzone.
Right
But anyways, Simpsons just
It's
got
on.
renewed for seasons 35 and 36. First of all, I am not aware of the actual viewer numbers, but is The Simpsons still a viable show that people and cartoon that people should be watching nowadays? I mean, I know that they pretty much ride with the times, whatever's the political landscape, whatever the social media landscape, entertainment landscape, they kind of throw all that in its own kind of parody form in the show. But was this ever a show that you guys were watching back in the day, as well as, is this still a show that people want to see? You know what I mean?
I was going to say that now they're on Disney Plus, right? So you have access to watch them on Disney Plus. So I would say the Disney. No, they're on Disney Plus.
No, they're on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they're on Disney Plus. Yeah,
Wow.
Disney Plus.
They actually had a bunch of specials
because they're
that came
bought
out,
by Fox.
like the
Yeah,
Loki
that makes
special. Yeah, they bought Fox. So that's why I said I was like, I feel like because of that now, Disney's kind of pushing for it, so that they can have like the full spectrum of audiences, pull in the adult crowd a little bit. But I would say I watch it from time to time, but I'm not like a week to week kind of watcher. So 35th and 36 seasons. That's damn. That's pretty crazy. I mean, still a fantastic show. I mean, I don't think you can ever really run out of ideas because it's basically all satire. So, I mean, kudos to them for keeping it going. I think it's the same thing with Family Guy, right? So, with it.
I mean, personally, I find Family Guy way more funny than Simpsons.
Me too. Yeah,
but,
I do. Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of subjective, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's still impressive. I think you get 35 or 36 seasons of anything. And I think logistically, it makes sense. Like, it's still a 2D animated show. Those aren't inherently expensive to make. Makes it really flexible for all the actors in the show because they're just doing voice acting. And as we know now, especially post-COVID, like, voice acting stuff can be done remotely anywhere. So as long as they have some kind of studio in their house, they can just, audio engineer it and try to clean it up.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I mean, so as far as a show that probably could last forever if they wanted it to, it's The Simpsons. And they continue to predict the future, as we have seen over the years. It's kind of fucking
with
crazy.
such a large sample size, it's hard not to predict the future. You know what I mean?
But, the accuracy,
some of it's
that is crazy, bro.
It's pretty scary.
But yeah, I think I've never been the biggest Simpsons stan, you know what I mean? But I definitely have seen a good number of episodes. I do think the show is very funny, and obviously it's embedded in pop culture now with memes and all those kinds of things. So, not surprising it's getting 2 more seasons. I didn't know it was quite on that 35, 36 mark. But yeah, I think it's fantastic for The Simpsons, and I will agree. I think Family Guy is a little bit funnier, but hey, different strokes for different folks, right? It's just is what it is.
Why you got to bring it up again? Strokes? Come on.
Oh, shit.
Yes. It's the second longest running TV show. That's crazy.
What's the longest?
It's WWE.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. How far off is Saturday Night Live?
Actually, the third is Law and Order, so I was just
another.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Law
and Order,
dark twisted
SVU,
shows.
then Law and Order, and then Family Guy. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Fair enough.
crazy. Yeah.
Jared, did you have any thoughts regarding The Simpsons?
I mean, since you attacked my age, no. I watched Simpsons. Actually, it's funny because I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons when I was young.
Me
because of
neither.
All the
Really?
stuff. My
Really?
parents
Yeah.
didn't really care for it and stuff like that. So
My parents didn't really care.
My parents were literally
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Bart and Lisa disrespect their parents so much. Why are we going to allow you to watch and be exposed to that?"
Oh,
And I
my
was like,
parents would never let me disrespect them.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
yeah, there was this nice little thing.
You want to follow their example?
"Why are you crying? Huh?
Put that lip away. Put that lip away.
Like in the mirror. I hate you.
You say it to the mirror because you can't say it.
Hey, what was that? Nothing.
I hate myself.
Myself.
I was talking to my doo-doo.
I hate you. Flush.
You've descended into madness. This is
Off the rails.
wonderful.
Different strokes for different folks, you know?
Yes. No, honestly though, with The Simpsons, the longevity I want to say that's awesome. Any TV show, anybody that's allowed to do it for that long, it's always something. It's very typical. And honestly, though, I'm not even gonna lie. When it comes down to it, with a fan base, they have it at Universal, so there's gonna be people who still you're still exposed to it. And so if you're going to Universal for the first time, never heard of The Simpsons, you walk through the town, whatever, and then you say, "Oh, look, it's on Disney Plus." That's just how they market it, and so people check it out, and they'll always keep it around. But I think
It's such a brilliant little part of the park too. I mean,
no, it's so well
the novelty of it all,
so well designed.
The Krusty Burger is actually pretty good.
Like I have no need for a giant pink sprinkled donut, but I'll buy it because
I
it's
totally
there,
bought one.
right?
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Hated it because it was way too much sugar.
There was a lot of sugar.
But the novelty of
lot
it,
of sugar,
of course.
And I love where it is because you have to walk through it to get to the tram.
Yeah.
So it's like perfectly placed where they're always going to be a viable thing because everybody wants to go to the tram, right? They always want to see what Universal's about, and so they'll get that easy marketing. And when you come back, you just you'll go grab a donut and maybe get on the tram.
And they have
when you're in that long ass line.
So.
Super random. Have you ever had a jelly donut?
Yeah.
I've never had a jelly donut.
Really?
Not a fan. No.
I've never had one.
Like the jelly.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the custard donuts or like cream filled donuts?
Not a fan of those.
had-
I can do like the
I've had
icing filled
malasadas
ones.
with custard
I like icing,
inside.
but not
Have
if
you
like
had
I don't want
malasadas with
pudding in
jelly?
there, or jelly. I just want my
Like
donut most of the time.
grape jelly?
No, it's usually like strawberry or something.
Oh.
Blueberry,
It's-
something.
Some donuts are very over.
Cody, you don't like the
ratio's
cream-filled
not great.
malasadas?
That's exactly what I just said. I was just like, this is like cream filled malasadas are bomb. Like
Yeah.
the Dobash ones.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing for the.
Shout out
for
to our
donuts.
sponsor, Leonard's. No, just
Wow,
You
that would be
imagine?
dope.
You gotta ship that
Bruh.
shit to California. We gotta ship that
Well,
shit
would
to
it be
Jalen,
dope?
man.
We'd all be like 50 pounds heavier.
But we'd be happy and sponsored.
Local. Just like,
Points will
we are
pass.
free malasadas for life.
That would actually be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
anyway, moving on. The next thing that we're going to kind of go over is a new trailer that released this week for We Have a Ghost, starring Anthony Mackie and David Harbour.
Yes.
Overall, it's about this family that moves into a home, kind of an old home, one of those kind of tropes where it's like, oh, you moved into that house? That's the haunted house, or whatever it is in the town. And the family befriends the ghost that is haunting the house, played by David Harbour. Wanted to throw it over to you guys first. Jalen, one of the things I saw when I watched this trailer was the fact that they made it a point to note that David Harbour, his character, can't talk. And one of the best things I love about David Harbour is his funny quips and lines that he usually has in any performance that he has. Do you think this is kind of a bad move in regards to the movie? Obviously, we haven't seen the movie, but do you think this is a bad move, or is this something that will play into maybe something we just unaware of right now?
If it's done well, it'll be impactful for when he does eventually speak in the movie. And I think David Harbour doesn't get enough credit for his ability to have these emotionally intense scenes, right, with no dialogue, because he does a lot of that in Stranger Things when he has to talk with Eleven or, the whatever, Will's mom, like all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, him speaking is always helpful, but actors really get to stretch themselves when they literally can't do the action, so there's that. Also notice that, of course, in a movie about a haunted house, kind of horror element, they cast an all-black family to live in said house. Couldn't have gone of any other direction, Hollywood. Not at all. Okay. It's fine.
Would you have rather had it differently?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They're continuing the stereotype of black people, horror movie, bad things happen.
But it could be good things.
As long as everybody lives. That's all I'm going to say. As long as everybody lives.
If they all die.
If they all die, however. Y'all got some
Keone,
explaining to do.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
That actually been
some
really dark, considering
rioting
the
after
movie
the
looks
movie.
very fun and upbeat as well. Want to throw it over to you, Keone. Obviously, Anthony Mackie is, I guess you could say, the other main character in this movie, or at least big name. I think Jennifer Coolidge is also in the movie, as well as like a medium psychic.
Oh,
but
yeah, hell yeah.
would you prefer seeing these types of movies where Anthony Mackie kind of stretches his muscles a little bit as an actor? Because obviously this is a comedy, a little more lighthearted, not so serious. We're going to see him wearing the Stars and Stripes in the next Captain America movie. He's obviously going to have a serious, more kind of, and we saw him in Pain and Gain. wasn't the best movie, but he played a specific character.
Wasn't the best movie, putting it lightly. That was a horrible movie.
But he was good in it, I felt.
You're right.
He played his role
good in it.
perfectly,
Yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts. Do you prefer where we see these Marvel or DC actors kind of stretching? Because I know that Jason Momoa has been doing his own kind of, I want to have fun while acting, whether they're great pieces or not.
Slumberland, that was, jeez. That was.
But was he good in it?
That was like the Tooth Fairy for The Rock. Like,
just
maybe say no next time. You know what I'm saying? One of those like.
Yeah, but that other one with where it's like him and his daughter. I don't remember what that one is. It's got that big flip at the end.
Well, you talking about Momoa or
Momoa? Yeah, I can't remember what the name is, but like,
wasn't it the one where like C or something? Or?
No, C is fantastic.
C is wonderful. I'm talking.
Yeah,
it's about
the
trailer is literally him on the top of like a building, and like there's police everywhere, and then it flashes back to being. It makes you set up this one way of thinking about the movie, and then it completely flips if you haven't seen it. By the way,
sure. No, I can't think of that movie.
It's fucking awesome. Now I'm gonna look it up now. But anyway, continue.
There was another one I think he did that was pretty good too. But anyway, so just besides the point. Anthony Mackie. I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he's maybe like a Juilliard or like
Juilliard.
Yeah, he is right here. Okay, I was like, so he's a pretty well trained actor.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie I ever saw him in was We Are Marshall, and fantastic in that movie.
Not 8 Mile?
Sweet Girl.
Right. Completely.
That's
But I'll say this because 8 Mile was he was like a smaller role. We Are Marshall, he was a little more front and center. You got to see his whole full, spectrum of like how he portrays all the emotions, and I thought he did fantastic in that movie. So, to me, that was like my first like real taste of Anthony Mackie. I mean, we say it all the time with a lot of Marvel actors. I mean, I'm sure the Academy says it a lot of against what we're saying, but Marvel movies can be those type of movies, the type of movies that get critical acclaim, and they can send these actors and get them, Emmys and all this other sort of stuff.
Angela Bassett just nominated for an Oscar.
Exactly. So I do think that we're slowly trending towards that. So that's a good sign. But we see all the time that they pump out these fantastic performances and really don't get their due. Mm-hmm. I think, Anthony Mackie is a great actor. I think he does a lot of like smaller roles. He hasn't really been in anything that really puts him front and center necessarily. I think the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was kind of his first like foray into being kind of like the head of a project. Yeah. So I'd like to see him do more of that in general. But this one for sure, I'm excited to see him kind of play into that. I will say I hope that he gets more serious roles later because like I've seen him in this movie and then like that one Christmas movie that he was with Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Christmas. He did good in it is basically what I was trying to get at. He did fantastic in it. I would love to see him get to be able to do more roles where he's like front and center because I feel like he's always kind of like a side guy. He's never really like the main guy. Even in this one, it looks like it's going to be David Harbour and the kid more so than it's going to be his character. So I'd like to see more of him because I do think he's fantastic. I don't understand how he hasn't gotten more roles, but
I think post Captain America, we're going to get more
Anthony.
That's
especially as he gets older because he's 40 already. I think so. He's definitely. I think he's around 40. He's been around the entertainment game for a long time.
Is he really 40?
I would assume so. Because what?
He was fairly young when We Are Marshall got
8 Mile.
Yeah, because I thought he was like maybe in his 20s when We Are Marshall. Damn, if he's 40, that's wow.
44.
He's 44. Look at that.
Wow,
44.
I don't know how many Captain America movies he's really going to be able to do realistically, but I'd say maybe like 2, 3. 3 might be pushing it a little bit because he'll be like 50 years old. Might be looking at old man Cap by then.
Wow, 44.
Yeah.
Wow.
It says 44, and he's only 5'10".
Why you gotta bring his height?
I don't know. I was looking at Wikipedia. It's showing me like I thought he was like 6'2", man.
Like I've always been like, I mean, I guess in our sport, like I've been short, I guess, considering, but I've always been like normal height. So I'm always so curious to see like where are these guys? And then like I didn't know that Chris Evans is like 6'3" or some crap like that. Like he's actually like
he's tall.
6'2",
I didn't know he was
6'3",
6'3",
something. Maybe
he's like
like
an
something
actual
like that.
like athlete. Yeah, he's
Yeah. He's pretty big.
He's
That's what I'm
built
just
like
like
an athlete too.
Tom Welling's like 6'6".
pop it out of that
I am not
machine.
surprised. That guy,
Which is like
Yeah,
that is a Superman right there. Jesus Christ. 6'6" walking at you on set.
Like,
You're just like,
is that Superman?
All right. Anyways, before we get off the rails, Jared, I want to throw it over to you really quick.
The face you gave.
This is going to be released.
yeah.
Stop! Don't go there. No.
I know it wasn't aimed at me, but I was like, for a second, I was just like, no.
Top of the list again, Cody.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's Jared. No,
Jared. This is going to be releasing on Netflix on February 24th. Wanted to ask you, Netflix has had some great movies, but they have more frequently had some stinkers. Do you think that this movie has a high possibility of just being god-awful and not relying on two, I guess you could say, A-list actors in David Harbour and Anthony Mackie in their roles? Or is this going to be something where hopefully we see a kid brand new to at least to me, brand new to movies and entertainment, kind of taking the world by storm and showing like a great performance in this?
Oh, it's tough. I want to say that this is going to be a good movie. I think
we all want to say it's
like, no,
Right.
I mean, in a sense, like I really enjoyed the trailer. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I really enjoyed the trailer. I thought like they had like the humor to it, and they had that mystery side to it, which had a little bit of diversity. So, in the sense of like you're not just gonna have be serious all the time. You're not gonna be all just cracking jokes all the time. I mean, it's kind of nice. It kind of reminded me of Casper.
Ah, okay.
It kind of reminded me of Casper.
That's a good point. Yeah. I was
Like they move into the house, the kids they find the ghost and try to keep it away from the dad, and then they find out, and then they do the whole mystery thing and finding the body, and So
you have a psychic coming in.
Yeah, I want to say it's like a reliving of Casper, like a new modern day aged one.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're in love with the ghost and we got to make out with the ghost, which is kind of weird when we think about it logically.
Come with
about
me
a
if you want to
female
live.
lead in that movie, but it's fine, whatever. We're just going to let it sit there. It was the 90s. It happened. We're moving on.
super random. But whatever happened to that kid? I feel like that blonde kid.
Devin Sawa?
Is that his name?
Devin Sawa. He was in Little Giants. He was
I know. He was Little Giants quarterback.
And then he was in something. And then he was in something else. And then I don't know.
I'm sure it's one of those like just child.
That guy is one of those. Like, I'm just like, whatever.
You could have taken the world by storm, man.
He's a good-looking dude. You know what I mean? He could have been something else later. It's just kind of weird that he just fell off completely. Like Little Giants, they made him the cute guy, and then that movie they made him the cute guy.
Listen, these are all minors that you're talking about.
I wasn't going to say it, but holy shit, we're canceled.
Did they not make him the cute guy in those movies?
Anyways,
moving
on.
Say it right now.
No.
Make him the cute guy.
No.
Did they not make him the cute guy?
They made him one of the main.
Literally in Casper, he walks out. Everybody
child.
looks at him.
Because he's a ghost.
He wasn't a ghost when he walked out. Everybody saw him as a guy.
Ghost.
Nobody saw him as a ghost.
Apparently
They saw him as a ghost mid-dance. Then he turned to a
Anyways,
ghost.
moving on before we get.
Clearly you didn't watch the movie. Gosh.
It's on
Because they're
Netflix,
dancing,
go
and then
watch
all of
it.
a sudden he turns back.
It's
to
like,
the
and
ghost,
then in
everyone's
Little
like,
Giants.
"Woo."
And then in Little Giants, same thing. He was like the love interest of the other girl kid thing that was in there.
Girl kid thing.
Because that girl, I'm like, oof, that's it.
Alrighty.
Come on.
We are getting
First of all,
These aren't children.
it's not the same, Theo, because we were younger than them when the movies came out. So we're talking about 50-year-old, 40-year-old people at this point. Second of all, come on.
Second of all.
I was like, look at this girl. Did she star in anything else after that?
Listen, she's not a girl. She's the icebox. Okay.
That's right. there's a reason why she doesn't have a name.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Anyways,
moving.
how about Shazam, huh?
That's the next topic. Thank you for bringing that up, Jalen. Shazam 2 trailer
Jesus
came out.
Christ.
We get a little better look at Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu. More Helen Mirren than Lucy Liu, but they give a lot more context to what the story of this movie is. I'm going to throw it over to you first, Jared. What did you think of the trailer?
Wait, what?
All right, we lost service with Jared.
No, I don't know. I think we talked about it before we got on. While Jay was playing his game. Well, actually, it was after Jay was playing his game. It's nice because at least we got a little more context to the whole thing. You know, the action, the storyline, and everything. So I'm excited for it. I mean, it was nice to see something else drop. It's kind of like when we not change like worlds, but when Ant-Man dropped their next trailer, we got that more deeper storyline. I mean, it's nice to see that with this trailer that they kind of follow the same things as far as like giving us a little bit more, and then they're going to give us a little bit more. So that's yeah.
I do want to say, whoever is the trailer cutting production team, they have been killing it with the music edits that they do. I think they had the Eminem song on the first trailer, and then they had the Drake started from the bottom.
They did.
They had been,
With that hit, that
I was like, started from the bottom. I was like,
yeah.
Like, it's Shazam! Yay!
Shazam!
It was like the most opposite cool reaction. Shazam!
It reminds me of Beyonce in Goldmember.
Yes. Absolutely.
No, it wasn't Shazam.
Was it Shazam?
Yeah. No.
Shazam! When she kicks her punch.
Yeah, you're right.
Her frozen.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
I'll throw it over to you, Keone. In regards to this movie, are you actually excited to watch it, knowing that this movie is probably not going to go any further than the Shazam 2?
See, you had that. I was like,
I had to throw it to you because I know Jalen.
I wonder why that is.
Jalen.
adding that last little caveat makes it less exciting to watch. So I'm not watching or following that whole deal. Is he cut as well, Shazam?
There was no official announcement, but the understanding is if they're not moving forward with their universe, most likely this is Zachary Levi's last time.
It's crazy because, all right, anyway, the only reason I was going to say is because it's like tonally, if you're like, you obviously, I feel like Black Adam and Shazam had two, I mean, it was kind of similar, but not really. Like they kind of tried to make Black Adam a little more serious than Shazam's movies were. So I felt like tonally, maybe you'd want to, if you were writing, but I guess, maybe he's not thinking that way. I mean, maybe he's not thinking at all, James Gunn. Anyway, as far as this movie is concerned, I am. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not entirely excited to watch it. I'm not even entirely because, if I'm being truthful, I wasn't really entirely excited to watch Black Adam. In theaters, but I did go see it in theaters just because I just enjoy movies in the theaters in general. And for us, Tuesdays are a cheaper day, so I went to see it on a cheaper day. Same deal with this movie. If I do see it, it'll probably be on a cheaper day. I'm not going to be like I did for Ant-Man, purchasing my tickets for the, earliest released. Yeah, especially with there not being a future after this, it definitely makes it that much more like not exciting to want to watch this movie. The addition of Lucy Liu and I mean, I love me some Lucy Liu. There's that, but it seems almost like you went for like, let's just get all these names and try to make this a thing. So for me, it's just I'm not too excited to watch it in general. I wasn't already really that excited to watch it, and then on top of that, the James Gunn news really made me not that excited to watch it. So that's kind of where I stand with it. Will I watch it? Maybe. Not really. Rushing out the theaters to go see it. Yeah, but if somebody here goes to see it first and says like it was fantastic,
gets the ball rolling,
Yeah. Then maybe I'll go. So
Jalen, obviously, you will be the last one to discuss this topic for the DC universe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
First off, what did you think of the trailer? Does this movie have promise? Do you think it's going to be a good movie, a good showing for Zachary Levi again? I think Shazam, the first Shazam movie, was critically underrated for the DC universe as a whole. What did you think about this trailer, and what are your thoughts on its ending?
Jesus Christ!
It's
like movie's gonna be fine.
When you have to tell
Movie's
your
gonna
dad
make money.
something.
I scratched your
Dad,
car.
we broke the TV.
This movie's gonna be fine. This movie's gonna make money. Not worried about that at all. I'm excited to go see the second one. I enjoyed the first one. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought Zachary Levi was a perfect casting for this movie initially, and then I went and saw it and like confirmed my suspicions about said casting. And again, somehow it was one of those weird movies. Obviously, critics all hated it, but audiences loved it, which is why it made money for DC. It's one of their top 3 grossing franchises, actually.
Yeah.
So that being said, I do think the sequel will be just as good, if not a little bit better, because we're going to get some more stuff with Billy, and they're going to get away from the Shazam family and back towards Billy Batson and him being Shazam by himself, which is kind of this coming of age story narrative they've been running through the first film and the second film, like you do with kids, right?
Yeah.
That's also a big sell for this franchise too, is like none of the other DC properties can really sell to kids like Shazam can. So they have that going for them. As far as its future, listen, not surprised that they're not continuing. There has been no confirmation. James Gunn's an idiot. Not really much else to be said there. I think Warner Brothers is still up in the air as far as where they actually want to go. They have no direction, no possible outlook on a future or whatever. There's this mythical plan that James Gunn can't even outline to us because he's so brilliant. I guess he's keeping it all to himself to reveal to us later, unlike somebody else who runs a really successful comic book movie industry that will just tell us shit way out in advance, even if it's just written on a napkin. Kind of seems like that's the main part of your job, if that's what you're supposed to do for a studio. So, yeah.
Well, you think it's important to connect with your audience prior to you releasing these things?
Weird, huh?
I have this
It's a
like
weird
gut
concept.
feeling Jalen's going to go in to watch the first movie in James Gunn's slate. He's in the theater right when the credits end. He's like, fuck, that was good. Damn it. Damn it, James Gunn.
Damn it, James.
Nah.
Damn it.
Want to know why?
He's
'Cause it
just
won't
like
be Henry
tearing.
Cavill.
Like, you damn right, girl.
That would have been like, let's say Kevin Feige,
Here we
right?
go.
Halfway through the run of fucking Infinity War buildup, was like, you know what? We're not bringing back freaking Chris Evans to play Captain America.
I think
Sorry,
that's
guys.
a bit of an excessive,
I don't know what's going
excessive
on.
comparison.
I don't know
Could
what's
you
going
imagine?
on. Weird. Not bringing back RDJ either. Sorry, guys. We just, I don't know what we're doing. We're
Well,
just
they
not
did
bringing
it
him back.
because he's dead, so.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Narratively, he's dead. You don't bring the actor back if they're dead. Maybe you do some AI stuff in Ironheart.
Well,
That's about
I mean,
all we're
Zack
going to get
Snyder
from
brought
RDJ.
Superman back, and he was technically dead as well, so you
That was
can't.
in the comics. He
I-
died.
yeah, I'm
He
just-
is the literal incarnation of Jesus Christ. That's what Superman is. Go read a book.
He doesn't walk on water, he flies over it. It's a little
He
different.
could literally walk on
He
water
can't
if he so
turn
chose.
water to wine.
He can run on water.
He can't break
He can
bread
do
and
all the
fish and
things.
feed 5,000. You know, you could probably go
Oh my
fishing
God.
for some.
Well, you learned something at Hope.
Wow. I was just like, look at this guy.
Apparently, dropping bombs out here.
Dropping bombs.
But no.
Anyways.
So yeah, it sucks that they're not going to be continuing in any shape or form because obviously James Gunn has this brilliant vision that's going to be dog shit anyway. So we'll just see how this goes. And I hope at least my hope is that at least goes out on a high note. So there's that rewatchability of like we can watch
absolutely.
Shazam 1 and 2 and all that good stuff, which I think there will be. The trailers look fun. It looks like we're adding a little bit more depth. It still looks like a lot of cool superhero action. So I'm all here for it. I'm ready to be front row, having a great time at Shazam.
Beautiful. Obviously, that is kind of hoping that does carry into this new DC universe, whatever it is that they're going to be doing. Obviously, we hear Jalen's side of it. Keone is probably in agreement. Jared's probably in agreement as well. But, you know, I'm still probably going to watch the movies, regardless if we're not excited for it. But, you know, that's just me.
Yeah.
The next topic today, going to go over Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah, because you're a sheep. No, I'm joking.
Wow. Anyways, Avatar: The Way of Water is now the number 4 movie in the lifetime grosses of box office money. It currently stands with $2,116,000,000. It's officially passed Infinity War as well as Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And now James Cameron has 3 of the top 4 in inflated numbers, yes. The box office lifetime grosses. I kind of wanted to go over just really quick with you guys, and then me and Keone will kind of give like a little quick hitter regarding the movie
just
itself.
About to ask. Gotcha.
What do you guys think about this kind of brilliant showing, I guess, for James Cameron once again with his movie, a movie that I think collectively agreed no one was asking for a sequel, especially 13 years later or however many years later he released it. Are you guys impressed by these numbers? Do you have any thoughts on it? Jared, I'll throw it to you first.
I think in any regard, for any movie to be putting up that kind of revenue is just ridiculous. You know, I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't matter if you ask for
$2 billion.
You asked for it, you didn't ask for it. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, in that regard, like, I'm excited that it did that well. You know, you're always happy for something that nobody asked for to succeed, whether I saw it or not, which I didn't yet. And I'm kind of in the same boat as Jalen. Just going to wait for it to drop and then I'll end up watching it. But I mean, long movie. Yeah, it is a long movie. I would like to watch in the comfort of my home. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm not surprised because the first movie was so good that I think everybody else needed to see what the next one was about. And once people gave great reviews, like Keone said, right? He was very surprised, and he actually liked the movie.
Yes.
So it's like when you hear things like that, especially from people who liked the first Avatar, they're gonna spend the money and they're gonna want to go see it. So like the revenue is gonna just skyrocket because that first movie, isn't it the most, right? Did we talk about?
Yep, it's number 1 right now.
It's number 1, right? So if it was number 1, you know that all those people who saw the first one and all their kids and everybody and their mom basically is gonna go with them. The money's just going to skyrocket even more. So, yeah. I mean, in that regard, kudos to them. Yeah. But I'm still going to wait and not spend my money. Sorry.
Throw it over to you, Jalen, really quickly. Titanic is number 3, and Avatar: The Way of Water is number 4. Titanic is currently, as of right now looking at it, only about 78 million higher than Avatar: The Way of Water. Do you think at the completion of this theatrical run that Avatar: The Way of Water could take that number 3 spot?
I mean, it's definitely likely, right? I mean, we're already $2 billion in the hole with this one, right? So I don't think that's out of the question by any stretch of the imagination. I will say it's always, obviously, like Jared said, it's impressive when you make $2 billion. Any fucking, I'm sorry, that's crazy numbers right there.
Only 6 movies have made $2 billion, by the way.
Right. And that's crazy in itself. I mean, good for Disney, right? You know, it's just more money in their pocket to fund whatever the hell else they want to do. Like they just, yeah, exactly.
I know we talked
about that one for a minute.
But like, can you imagine how much Matt Damon is regretting not taking that stake in the movie? Good Lord.
Yeah, because the movie he made instead was like not.
Wasn't the Bourne also
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like those. Yeah, that it trailed off near that. It started off good, and then that
it
one
really did. Third act really just crushed that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm still not the biggest fan of James Cameron. Hence why I'm not giving him my like theater money. He's just gonna have to get it through my Disney Plus subscription, which is whatever. But it is what it is, dude. Dude's goated. Got most of his movies are in the top 5. Earnings of all time.
Well, I'm saying for him, solidarity.
Solidarity. I paid for the solidarity.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I use this emoji so much now, so now it's like I gotta use it in real life. Yeah.
But apparently there are like 6 of these things still. Well, we still got 4 more. So if I do the math, we'll get the next one 13 years from now. So that'll be 2036, and then we'll
be
the
dead by the
fourth
time the 6th one
and we'll definitely be
we'll be live in studio by that time.
Yeah. So again, unless he's gonna speed up the pace, I'm not gonna like get hyped about this Avatar franchise. I'm sorry. It's just like I don't like waiting 13 years in between movies. Like 2 to 3, hey, that is what it is. Like,
I think
we
the
got
third one is
production,
slated for 24.
If that's real, then awesome.
But this
I mean,
movie,
they already
pure
recorded
CGI.
some of it, right?
It's completed its initial filming, so it's mostly post.
Is it
and
in
any
post?
reshoot.
Then
It's in post now. It's going to be reshoot, but the movie is purely CGI, so it's going to take years for this thing to get completed.
that's what I'm saying. There's no way
their
24 drops.
You know,
it.
standard, right?
Yeah, that had to be
2024.
end of 24 for it to be any amount.
I think they're aiming for those December dates.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, then that's feasible if it's been shot and it's been in post now or whatever, and we're good. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. But yeah, again, it's phenomenal feat. Hands up, like hand claps, snaps to the tip of the caps, roses, flowers, whatever, and good job, Disney. You got yourself another $1 billion franchise to go along with your Marvel and Star Wars properties.
Just looking at this right now, Disney, of the top 10 inflated numbers, yes. Disney is owner to 8 of the top 10 all-time grosses. Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Avatar The Way of Water, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Infinity War, it's technically Sony, Spider-Man No Way Home.
They get a little bit of that one.
I get
It's
a
not
little cheddar off
complete,
that.
Yeah.
The Lion King, The Avengers, 8 of the 10. That is insane.
I mean, those are all great movies. Let's be real. Those are all
Ain't
I was
wrong,
like-
numbers don't lie.
As somebody who worked for the company, when you look at all of the companies that they have collected over the
The
years,
Infinity Stones that they've collected.
it literally
You know what I mean? It's collected.
ESPN. That's another one. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Dude.
They're looking at Universal.
Yeah.
You're next.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw it over to
Man,
you,
it's
Keone,
real.
because you and I are the two that have seen Avatar: The Way of Water. I want to ask you, what did you think of the movie? Obviously, we know that it's a very lengthy film.
Yeah.
Did you think that the,
Especially watching it twice in a span of a week. Oh
my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's 6 hours of your life, man?
Yeah.
Actually,
really.
7 technically, but
7. Yeah. I was to say.
I wanted to ask you, one, let us know regarding what visually the movie is like. And then 2, do you think that the story itself that they wrote kind of backs up how beautiful this world that they're creating on screen is?
I think what Jay said in like the first pod that we had mentioned this, they nailed it. I think when he said that, like how much further can you really push the technology for the CGI stuff? Because Avatar was such a revelation when it first came out. They did it, man. Like honestly, like for somebody who was skeptical going into the movie, seeing what they could do, not only with progressing how the characters look and how clean it just looks throughout the entire thing,
Insane.
but the water aspect of it was just, I mean, it was insane. Like, I feel like that added texture of water for this movie was something that elevated it to the next level. So, for me personally, it was an upgrade. Like I think a lot of people were worried about that. I was in the same boat as Jay before watching it. That I was kind of like, what can they do more? You know what I mean? There's so much other stuff. We've seen the Avengers stuff, but what they were able to do with just the water aspect of it was phenomenal, man. It looked so beautiful. Like every part of it looked just so believable. There were moments where like you had like human moments where you kind of thought like the scale of the ocean. Like, I don't know who here has like a fear of the ocean or if anybody listening has a fear of the ocean, but the scale of the ocean is hard to nail. So when you have scenes in the movie where you're seeing a guy like just floating in just the abyss of the ocean and you see the vastness of it, and it actually gives that that feeling of anxiousness and fear when you're floating there. Like, I think, to me, that's what the movie did so well. Like, I mean, it's not surprising to me that they've done what they've done as far as like how much money they made for the movie. Speaking from a Polynesian-ish, perspective, I definitely see like there's a lot of people in the Polynesian community who have said, I mean, it's divisive, but there are a lot of people who still believe that you should go watch the movie because of that kind of cultural tie that he implements into the movie. And for me personally, I'm on the side where I'm kind of like, it's a movie, and it's a movie about aliens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really think we need to get too deep into like the representation and all this kind of stuff. Yes, I do agree that there is very closely tied relations to like what Polynesian culture was, especially like the Maori people, from New Zealand. So I feel like there's a lot of that, and I can see why people are upset. I am not upset about those kind of ties because I do think that, it's an alien movie. It's a movie about, he's bringing it to that culture, but he's not necessarily like saying outright, like, this is, the culture that we're representing here. So in general, I do think that he did a phenomenal job kind of navigating that whole thing. And he did the same thing with the first movie. It was a lot of Native American ties. Yeah. A lot of people were very, very, there was divisiveness for that movie as well. A lot of people were upset about how he went about kind of appropriating the culture. But for me, as somebody who is of Polynesian descent, like I don't think that he did
anything disrespectful.
I don't think it was a disservice to the culture. I think he represented it well while also kind of giving it its own little spin, because it is obviously an alien group of people. It's not necessarily like I do think he has all of the major like stories there. Like, there is like the protect the ocean theme. There is like the protect the native culture themes. There is like the whole like, just everything about it is very relatable, but at the same time, not like saying it, not doing it outright. So I think he did a great job of navigating it. A lot of people would probably disagree with me, but I do think that he did very well. And it was a fantastic movie. Like, it was very long. There was that. So you're definitely in for a ride, but I never once felt while I was in the movie the first time, because obviously the second time was different, but the first time, I never really felt like there was anything that kind of was like a lull. So even when you asked me about should I go use the bathroom at any time, even the scene that I did say like, oh, use it during this time.
But there's purpose to it.
Yeah, there was.
I knew exactly when it popped up. I was like, if I hadn't seen this, some parts of the movie would have been like, how is he underwater so long?
Exactly. There would have been those moments, but I do think you saw why it made sense. And I think the ties to a movie, and I'm not sure if anybody here is familiar with Whale Rider, I think it was beautifully done. Like, I loved the Whale Rider movie. If you're, Polynesians, shout out to my peeps. The Whale Rider was a fantastic movie, but this movie, it did it in such a way where you could see where the inspiration came from, but at the same time, it didn't necessarily like just, this is what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he did so wonderful, like, at doing that. It was nice to have a little bit, like, for me personally, I felt like it was nice to have a little bit of representation, even though it wasn't necessarily a representation of us. Yeah. And he obviously he did well with the casting of some of the actors. There were some roles that I did feel like after watching the movie, I felt like it would have been cool to have more of the Polynesian representation
instead of
in
Kate
those
Winslet.
spots. Yeah, that was a big one. Like, but I'm gonna leave it as it's an alien culture. You know what I'm saying? So I that was one for sure. I think everybody was very upset about. Even myself. Like, I think when you have. Okay, so here for those who haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's portions of it where the physicality parts of it, the way that you like for the haka. Like, they didn't do a haka in this movie, but for the haka, there's a way your face, your body, the intensity, all of that sort of stuff pours out into it, because it's not just this, let's hype up the football team type of dance. It's a cultural thing. It means something more than what. It's also, it's love. It's a bunch of other things. There are so many things that pour into that specific thing, that I think there was a part of it where she did something that really made me feel uncomfortable in the theater. Like, personally, I felt like I could tell that that's a white lady. Like, I didn't even know that she was. I didn't even know that she was the one. Like, I had no idea who the cast was. Yeah, I did the exact same thing. So I had no idea who was casted. The only person I knew for sure, 100%, like, I knew who the chief was, because big actor. Yeah, it's like he's a big time dude in the Polynesian community. One of the few actors that I think that's gotten like really like recognized in all kinds of different things. He was in The Walking Dead recently. So you could tell who wasn't. You know what I'm saying? That's for me. That's where it stuck out. Like, even like some of the people who were like African American, I could tell those two, because like you could tell who wasn't Polynesian in the movie. Like, I could tell because of, obviously I'm a Polynesian, so I know who's not. And when they have portions like that where you have to do the physicality part, like, I think
also doesn't help that James Cameron made their hair a very specific way when
I was like, the braids. It's just like there were things where I was just like, did you have? But
it reminded me. This is no disrespect to James Cameron's work. It kind of reminded me of like Shark Tale, where you knew. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you knew.
What you trying to say, dog? Like, what specifically do you mean?
Say it on the pod, right?
Yeah, no, but you're right. Yeah, like there obviously are physical traits that he used in order to kind of depict who the actor was. But on top of that, it was the fact that they were so closely tied to specific cultures that I could tell. Like, it stuck out. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I didn't think it was a detriment to the movie or really a disrespect to the culture, because it's not our culture. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's saying like these are Maori. It's not like he's saying any of that. It's really just, kind of trying to bring some sort of semblance of what it means to be in those cultures. Yeah. So all in all, I thought it was fantastic. I think that he did really well. Like I said, the animation, like the CGI stuff was just like, it was next level. Insane. It was. It like, really was.
When you watch this movie, guys, like seeing them, the Na'vi, stand next to an actual human, it's like seamless. Like, you're like, there's no way. Like, this is not real. Like, I don't know what like. I wouldn't say it's like pores, but like when it's close up on their faces, like you can see the skin. Yeah. Like it's like skin. And you're like.
The crazy thing about it too, I think, is that you can see the actor. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Sam Worthington looks like Sam Worthington, but like obviously he did that in the first movie, but even in this one, it's like even more. Like,
Sigourney Weaver looks like Sigourney Weaver.
Young or old.
That was kind of weird. You know,
that was a little jarring. I will say that was one part that
was a little jarring.
Bianca and I could not get on board with that whole, like, just cast a younger actress. It didn't make sense for the daughter to sound older than the father. Like,
but be a child.
Dad. Yes. Hey, Dad.
He's like, hey,
you just read it. I'm like,
and he's like, hey, baby girl. Like, what? She's not a baby. She's a woman. You can tell this is a woman.
Like, is she a 50-year-old daughter? Or what is
some method acting going on there, really.
Yeah, it was honestly, they should have even just, I don't know, added some kind of effect to her voice or something. Because you can tell.
It's not that hard.
You know what I mean?
There is an old lady in that body that's just clearly like, yeah, it was off-putting. I think of the entire movie, that honestly was the most off-putting part of the entire movie. Like, a lot of people say it was Kate Winslet, but for me, it was that. That was weird.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just also want to say, like, this movie was worth the money spent, at least when I went to go to the theater to watch it.
I agree.
They brought in a very genius way of having Stephen Lang come back as the antagonist, and he crushed it once again. Definitely excited that he was back in the role and kind of doing his own thing. Makes sense when you watch the movie. I was like, this is actually like genius, and it makes so much more sense. Overall, great performances by all the actors. Last thing I want to say is, if you've seen the movie, Loak, what's wrong with you, man? Like, you know what? What's wrong with you, dog? Like,
shout out to the kid who plays, what is his name? The one human kid.
Oh, Spider.
Shout out to that kid. I'm in my head, like, I was watching his performance and thinking, first of all, Marvel, give him a call. Young Avengers.
He wasn't actually Avengers Endgame. They said that.
Was he?
He was the kid riding the bike past Paul Rudd when he first comes back. I was like, holy crap.
No way.
Banger.
What the heck?
Wow.
Okay, well, bring him back
as a role.
where he can actually have something. Because honestly, that kid, I mean, phenomenal. Dude.
I was watching when he first popped on the screen. I was like, okay, Island Boy, and then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, it makes sense. You know what? It makes sense.
Damn.
That was the first time.
When you watch it, you're like, this is a wannabe, and they're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, just ruined the whole.
Just ripped in the shreds.
Right when you guys watch this movie, you're like, oh, he was right. Okay.
Yeah. But that kid can act, man. He
great movie, great performances, beautiful, stunning visuals. I am actually excited to see the third one now. So whenever that comes out, I will be there in theaters to watch it. So moving on, last thing we're going to hit today is The Last of Us episode 2. Last week, Jalen and I kind of covered the first episode. Kyoto was able to catch up this week. Jared is still waiting for someone to give him a password so he can sign it. Hook me up, man! But I'll throw it over to you first, Keanu, because obviously you weren't able to really kind of chime in last week too much. What did you think of the first 2 episodes as a whole? And then, of course, since you've played the game, how does it kind of match up?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because I just went on a full-on rant with the Avatar movies. But first and foremost, like the first episode, like shot for shot, like,
but in a good way.
In a good way. Like, I mean, obviously, you have a game that has fantastic storytelling within the game. Like, I think when they do it well in the show and they're able to change parts of it where it's still, interesting and you're not necessarily like fully knowing what's going to happen next. I think they did so well with that. In general, though, it was fantastic. And then the second episode, I mean, you sent your text and I was like, oh, I got to watch it. And it immediately gave me I was just like expectations of what it's going to be like. Expectations or not, it was fantastic. Like, I regardless of the fact that I was kind of already like, uh-oh, he's setting the bar high. Like, it was good. It was so good to watch. Like, I'm excited to watch this show. I think they do so well with everything. Like the explanation of the virus, I think, was really well done. For those fungus who didn't play the game. Yeah, the fungus, excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
I just wanted to add, the cold opens for the first 2 episodes are freaking insane.
Right?
First one, like, how do you get rid of it? Bomb the scene. Yeah. I was like, what?
That the way she kind of was like she had just given up. Like, I told Bianca, I looked at Bianca and I was like, if the expert gives up, you know what I mean? If the number one, if the number one person,
she's like, take me home. I want to be with my family before we all die.
I don't know about you, but obviously I'm not in the situation, so I'm like watching the show, but I immediately felt like fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just felt fear because if the person who knows the most is like, yeah, we're all like, I give up already and not even going to try. Like, no. Yeah, that to me was too much.
I also actually had a quick follow-up for you, Ken, because I know you played the game. I know you mentioned last pod that it's kind of like choose your own paths at certain points.
Yes.
and it popped up in my head right when I saw it, was them in this second episode going long way or short way. Was that actually in the game as a pick one?
You know what's funny? Yes, it is.
I was like, immediately, I was like, this has to be from the game, like you were saying.
Literally, they're like, it's one of those games where you're just kind of, you have to pick, like, you don't like select the choice, you just kind of go whichever way you're fit. Yeah, so it's literally exactly that.
It's like Elden Ring. There's not a real way to play it sometimes. You just kind of play it, and sometimes you run into...
But yeah, I'll throw it over to you, Jalen. What did you think of the second episode? Did it kind of exceed the bar that the first episode set?
I mean, it matched it and then added on, right? That's what we need from series, right? You match that previous episode and then we add on and we keep going until the season's over. Again, I think the stakes were raised again because we kind of got to know a character and now there's not that character because that's what you had to do to get people moving and grooving, and it was crazy. So I thought that was really, really good.
She was grooving at the end too.
Real dramatic and a kind of a most disgusting way to go out, I think, personally. Like straight up just making out with oh God. Oh
yeah,
God.
I saw it already.
Oh no.
What happened?
I saw it already.
Oh. Eagles to the Super Bowl. God dang it.
God, we're all doing
chance.
shotguns.
And Nick Johnson.
No, we're all doing shotguns.
Nick Bosa literally just got injured on the last play too. I don't know what it was.
Come on!
It was the third and 10. They got
San
stopped,
Francisco.
I've never seen a team get more of a gift wrap to a Super Bowl than the Philadelphia Eagles this season. I swear to God.
String quarterback.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have the game cast up, and I saw Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson.
I thought isn't
Johnson.
Jimmy medically cleared too?
I don't care. No, Josh Johnson went in for the last one, and it's like he got sacked. And I was like, what happened? So I was Googling, and then literally my Black 30 search popped up.
Anyways,
wow.
Yeah.
It was a great
back
episode.
to the movie.
I'm excited to see where I'm glad that, as disappointed as I am that character did end up leaving in that particular way, it is kind of nice because I'm interested to see more of just Pedro and Elle, or whatever her name is.
Bella Ramsey.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where that goes forward. And again, it's unraveling more of that mystery of like how he has to get through all his PTSD with his daughter from the first episode while dealing with her being basically the savior now that we found out in the end of the last episode and this episode more so. So yeah, it'll be definitely a fun ride. Some good little, they're not like big jump scares in this episode, but they were definitely pushing the horror, I think, a little bit more. Yeah, in this episode, they had some good like, oh my God, tension scenes. Like, holy shit, get me out. I don't like it. This is uncomfortable. And then like, oh my God, are they going to live? And I was like, surely somebody's dead when they were fighting the zombies in the one section there.
I don't know if anybody here was watching it with like surround sound, but...
Bose is basically surround sound.
Thing just...
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Because it was... The thing is like right here, so I was just like...
Fact.
Like, right
oh, God.
You just
like I
Lila
almost felt
sprint out of the
breathing on
room.
my neck.
Yeah, it's Lila.
No,
I would also like to note that the practical effects in the show absolutely phenomenal. I don't think there was I don't think that was CGI, and if it was, fantastic. But it looked like a lot of practical effects being used for the clickers.
I think there was certain parts where you could tell it was
a little bit.
I think it was like the movement stuff that they needed to have kind of CGI'd in. But I think it did look prosthetic.
So, I mean, phenomenal job there all around. Again, I think the show has phenomenal potential, and it's one of those things where it's like, that's how you beat the video game curse. It's not just trying to adapt it frame for frame. It's understanding that the story material in these games are fantastic. All you have to do is just bring it to life with great actors and add a little bit of stuff because not everything can be adapted into a movie or TV show format. Like, it is a very linear process, especially when, like Keone said, this is one of the most popular video games for a reason. Narratively, it is a phenomenally written video game, regardless of how the gameplay ends up. So you don't really have to do much other than just kind of adapt and make sure that narratively you can navigate in a TV show format. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I am very excited to watch episode 3 tonight. Other than that, that'll do it for us here at the post-credit segment for the Poi N Soy podcast. Gentlemen, let them know where they can find you. Jared?
I am on Instagram and Twitch at jshirai, JSHIRAI, and on Twitter at jshirai808.
Jalen?
I am at Jalen Holston on Twitter, Art by Jalen on Instagram, and MochaThanos_LGG on Twitch.
Keone?
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at K-O-N-E, that's K-A-Y-O-H-K-N-E-E.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, Nolan, K-Y-T, N-O-L-A-N, K-Y-T. Stick around for at the end of this pod. We are going to be announcing our giveaway winner. Just make sure the winner is actually listening, But other than that, thank you guys for making us a part of your day. We enjoyed having you be a part of ours. From all of us here at Poi N Soy, good vibes
Bang,
out,
bang.
everybody.
No,
Just fucking
Damn it.
Just kidding.